and the first thing that happens, usually, is the love scene.
Which Hollywood heartthrob made Diane Lane forget her lines so completely she lost her place on the page? Did the legendary chemistry between Diane and her co-stars ever blur the line between acting and reality? And why did it take 60 years for Hollywood's most graceful actress to confess the truth about the 6 men who made professionalism nearly impossible? The lights dim softly, the camera rolls, and Diane Lane settles back in her chair with a smile that's half mischief, half mystery. Her laugh comes low and smooth, drawing you closer. "You really want me to answer that?" she teases, eyes flashing. At 60, I've learned honesty can be dangerous, especially about handsome men. The interviewer grins, encouraging her, and she exhales slowly, dramatic, like the beginning of a long story. Her smile widens, knowing and dangerous. But I'll tell you this, 6 men made me forget my lines, my cool, and maybe a few morals. I never crossed the line, she says, leaning forward. But I thought about it more than once. Eyes gleaming with mischief, she sits back. "So who were they?" she asks, laughing softly. "Let's just say Hollywood's finest made being professional very difficult." She grins, slow and confident. And at 60, I'm finally old enough to admit it. Diane's smile becomes slow, savoring a memory. "Richard Gere," she says, the name itself drawing out a sigh. "You can't work with Richard without talking about chemistry. It's in the eyes, the calm, that quiet confidence filling the room before he speaks." Folding her hands, she remembers. When Unfaithful started, he was graceful, composed, prepared. I thought it would be easy. Then he looked at me during our first read-through, and I lost my place completely. Not because he did anything, just because he has that stillness, that focus. You feel truly seen. It's disarming. Her laugh warms. Then you spend months pretending to love someone like that. Long days, emotional scenes, no personal space, and suddenly acting feels too natural. There's a dance, a glance, a pause, a heartbeat between takes. You stay in character longer than necessary. Everyone on set pretends not to notice. Their connection continued beyond that film. By nights in Rodanthe, it was like continuing a conversation that never ended. We'd tease between takes. He'd quote, "Unfaithful." I'd roll my eyes. Somehow the teasing made scenes softer, more human. That comfort is rare. It's what makes audiences believe. Diane laughs immediately. "Kevin," she says, shaking her head. "That man makes standing still look heroic. First day on Let Him Go, he walked on set, hat in hand, that low drawl, that steady look. It's not showy. It's a current pulling you in before you realize you're moving." Settling back, her voice softens. "Kevin has quiet gravity. You feel safe, but there's something underneath. A challenge, a spark. Running scenes, he never pushed. He just listened. Really listened. It changed how you delivered the next line. That's unrehearsed chemistry." Eyes bright, she grins. He teases without words. You're in character, thinking about your cue, and he gives that half smile. Not a grin, just a hint. Suddenly you're not thinking about lines. You're thinking, "Don't blush on camera." Diane laughs again, memory alive. There's power in stillness. Kevin can quiet a whole room by crossing his arms. Try acting next to that. It's like playing chess with a storm cloud. You must stay steady, or he'll steal the scene doing absolutely nothing. Diane smiles when his name comes up, equal parts amusement and respect. "Josh," she says, pure energy, all instinct and grit. You feel it before he says hello. Leaning back, she remembers. On Jonah Hex, he had restless drive, making scenes unpredictable in the best way. He's not an actor who repeats the same rhythm. He'll look at you differently, throw a new tone into a line, and suddenly the scene's alive. You must keep up or get swept into his storm. At his name, Diane's smile shifts, softer, nostalgic. "Matt," she says, "that takes me back. We were both kids trying to look like adults who knew what we were doing." She laughs. "He had that quiet, cool, every 80s director wanted. He'd lean on a wall, say nothing, and still own the frame. Meanwhile, I tried keeping up, tried not looking impressed, and failed miserably." Eyes glinting mischievously, she continues. "Matt could make silence feel like dialogue. You'd stand waiting for your cue and realize he was already telling a whole story just by looking at you. That focus is rare and dangerous because it pulls you in." Grinning, she shakes her head. "We were so young, but even then he had presence. Running lines. He'd do this half-smile thing, not intentionally, just something that happened. Suddenly I'd forget what came next. Decades later, I can still picture that look." Her tone warms. "He's grown into that same calm power, just steadier, more refined. Some people lose their spark with age. Matt let his smolder mature. You can feel it when you see him on screen now. It's still there, just quieter, a slow burn instead of a flare." Diane laughs immediately at his name. "Christopher," she says, "had that European mystery. Calm on the surface, but you always felt something happening underneath." She folds her hands as if replaying a scene. "On night moves, we spent long hours on set, working through complicated dialogue and emotional beats. He had focus that drew you in. When he listened, he really listened. Even quiet moments between takes felt charged, like sharing a secret without words." Her laugh softens. "He's got that accent. It does half the work. He'd ask a question or make a joke, and you'd forget what you were supposed to say next. That gentle, slightly mischievous energy, it kept everyone on their toes." Shaking her head affectionately, she continues. "Christopher was all about precision. Every look, every pause had purpose. Acting with him was like playing chess, fitting, considering the film, and half the fun was trying to stay one move ahead." Her eyes warm with appreciation. "He was generous, though. That's what I remember most. He wanted scenes to breathe, to feel honest. There's quiet confidence in people who don't need to dominate a moment, but can still make it come alive." Diane smiles, a little wistful. "We came from different worlds, Hollywood and Paris, but for those few months it felt like we spoke the same cinematic language. It was mysterious, elegant, and just unpredictable enough to stay in your mind long after cameras stopped." At 60, Diane Lane has finally shared what fans suspected for decades, that behind every unforgettable on-screen romance was a real connection, a genuine spark that made acting feel effortless. She never crossed the line, but she thought about it, and that honesty makes her confession so compelling.